Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 2C We are back in 2C Towers to give you guys the latest updates from the Middle East. It's all kicking off in the northern side of Israel and with the border with Lebanon. And this morning, over the last few hours, we have seen all the attacks from the Lebanese side and with the Hezbollah leadership. And now we have the retaliation from the Israeli side. It's all basically the main escalation is, but again, the excuse that the Hezbollah have is because of the attack in both the Syrian side, the Lebanese side, and of course the terrorist attack in Iran. Somehow they're linking everything together, even though you had the Islamic State coming out to take responsibility for what happened in Iran, the attack. But the Hezbollah side are still very, very much angry that Israelis managed to take out the deputy leader of Hamas. So it's all because of that. That's what they are saying. So in this video, we're going to take you guys through all the updates that we have. And we have some videos that I'm going to show you guys, some images and the quotes. And we actually have an official video from Hezbollah as well, from Lebanon, which is a little bit cringy. So let's get on with the show. All right, we're back officially now from central London. Most of you probably watched the video we did in Westminster where the Islamist protesters were taking over. But the Metropolitan Police managed to kick him out of central London for once. So the early hours of today, we had a lot of attacks on Israel. Not necessarily just from the Gaza side, but also from the Lebanese side. And if Israel didn't have the Iron Dome, it would have been wiped out by now many times over. So those who are claiming that Israel is they're just in a very black and white way, the bad guys, I can assure you, if years ago they didn't have this technology, they wouldn't even exist right now, the Israelis. So the attacks happened from the Lebanese side, and we obviously initially they said 62 rockets. That's what Lebanon claimed, right? The Lebanese side claimed. But it was actually 40 missiles that were sent towards northern Israel. The alerts were going off in various areas, including South Golan and the Jordan Valley and many other places across the area in the region. Drone alert obviously sounded, but apart from the northern side, the eastern side was also on alert. One of the main issues that we're currently facing is even the official government of Lebanon, who are going around basically the prime minister calling for an enforcement of UN Resolution 1701. It said Lebanon's commitment to implementing Resolution 1701 requires stopping Israel's violations of our sovereignty and its withdrawal from our occupied territories. Your sovereignty, the Gaza side invaded the south of Israel. You guys have now basically invaded and attacked the northern side of Israel, and you're talking about sovereignty. Interesting logic. Anyway, this is according to Al Jazeera. The Prime Minister said that the UN resolution obviously seeks to end the 2006 Israel-Lebanon conflict. That was the whole point of it, by disarming groups in Lebanon, right? But that's not what they've done. Groups in Lebanon are not disarmed right now. That is the main issue. So everything goes back to what's been going on. So we have a couple of videos. One is the actual moment where the Lebanese side were attacking. It's like they want to get destroyed. It's like there's some sort of self-destruction mood that the Lebanese side and the Hezbollah currently are facing. Let's go to this one first. No, this is not the residential areas in Gaza or the West Bank. This is once again Israel being under attack. And the mainstream media don't seem to care when Israel gets attacked. But of course, when they do counter-attack, counter-offense, everybody cares. We have another video. This is actually quite interesting, the next one, because it shows an IDF helicopter targeting a drone from the Islamist side, and the allegations are that these drones are Iranian drones that have been sent to Lebanon and Gaza and then all the other areas, and obviously the Houthis in Yemen. And this was the drones come from the same IRGC base that a couple of weeks ago we reported that it was somehow accidentally set on fire because it was an explosion. So all that comes from there. Let's go to this video about the helicopter bringing down an Islamist drone.
هنا واو يا غا بوم ايسه يوفي
Oh yeah, that was sexy. That was absolutely sexy. That was good. This is how you defend yourself as a country when it comes to... And the thing is that we always talk about our own Western countries, whether it's Britain or France or Denmark. And if one day we are under attack by one side or whatever, Israel consistently for decades have been targeted from various sides: north, south, east, up, down, tunnels, everything, sea, air. And the fact that their resilience continues, not just for them to survive and the ordinary Jews and Christians to live in Israel and the Muslims to live in Israel, it's also the frontier for the Western world. And that's the one thing we always talk about. Anyway, going back to this. The targets of this morning's attack on Israel by the Lebanese side and Hezbollah, they fired over 40 missiles. Initially, they claimed it was 63, 64, whatever it was, but it wasn't. It was 40. Luckily, the Iron Dome and the actual, generally speaking, IDF managed to contain the situation because they are trained, they are professional. Otherwise, a lot of civilians in northern side of Israel would have been eliminated by now. But they did a good job so far. I'm just going to also double check to see how the video is doing on YouTube. It's still monetized. Surprisingly, the video is actually still monetized. When we talked about, I can't say the word. You know Jeffrey with the island, that guy? Every time we talk about him, somehow we get demonetized. This one, surprisingly, monetized still. Let's see if I can mess it up eventually. Anyway, we've got former general saying Hezbollah struck the strategic target by targeting a monitoring station covering Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Turkey, and part of the Mediterranean, thus paralyzing the Israeli Air Force in a certain way. This is according to Lebanon news. So a pinch of salt, obviously. But the next thing I want to show you guys is it's quite interesting because this is actually a propaganda video that we have now received from... This is brilliant, by the way. This is Hezbollah. For those who are familiar, on social media, Team Hezbollah and Team Nasrallah are very good at creating very, very cringy Instagram and TikTok videos. And they are supposed to be scary and terrifying and, you know, intimidating. But in fact, they're just a little bit weird. It's the young Islamists in the Middle East who are like more techie, tech savvy. The latest that we've just received in our inbox from Hezbollah after they attacked Israel this morning is, let me show you, is this one. Let's go. Really? Yeah, so this was the latest official propaganda video from the Lebanese side, Hezbollah leadership. This was supposed to be scary, apparently. And it's just funny. Usually you do propaganda video when you're doing self-defense. Usually you say, somebody attacked me, I'm angry, I'm going to show you how intimidating I am. But Hezbollah, they're the ones who attacked Israel this morning. And they're the ones who then made a video saying, we are angry. Well, you're angry that you attacked a different country. It just makes no sense. But this is the logic of Islamists, which makes no sense because they have no logic, obviously. Let's go to the live chat to get some of your reaction as well. Noah says that in this second Lebanese conflict in 2006, Israeli guys made a diss track about Nasrallah. The name of the song is Yalla Ya Nasrallah. It's an absolute bop. Brilliant. And let's go back to this. Lebanon used to be a peaceful Christian country who allowed Muslims in out of love. Muslims then became the majority and started persecuting Christians. You'd think countries would become wise to this. Exactly, spot on. It's not just that. Look at parts of history of even Egypt, modern history of Egypt. Look at Iran before the 1979 paramilitary coup of Islamists. Many other places, even parts of Jordan, we could say the same. All these areas that initially made the mistake that now Western Europeans are making. Out of being progressive and liberal, thinking that if we are nice and we invite other people, even if they initially hate us, we could make them like us. So Islamists. Now we're doing it. Germany, France, Sweden, Denmark, the Netherlands, UK, all of us are doing it. And one day they could become the majority, or they would become the majority, and then good luck with that. You're gonna have Sharia as part of your constitution. You're gonna get Sharia courts. You're gonna have the usual toxic culture that doesn't change. Those who are saying that Islam is just a young religion, it doesn't work. It's not just that it's younger than Christianity. The text is different. Ideology is different. Even 200 years from now, it will be the same thing, because you cannot reform Islam. You can't. You can relatively reform Muslims if you make them become less Islamic. They could just be culturally Muslim. And that's a lot of them, by the way, in the West. But you can't reform Islam. It's the final text, according to themselves. It's not amendable. So you can't amend it. Which means, wherever they go, if they inevitably become the majority, they don't even have to be what we would call terrorists. They don't even have to be a completely anti-system in that sense. But because by default they are against what we would call the Western liberal culture, they would reverse everything that we have, just like what they did in Lebanon, just like what they did in Iran, and many other places throughout history. Turkey is another one as well. And we're talking about centuries ago in Turkey, because Turkey was lost ages ago. Then they tried to bring it back after Ataturk, and throughout the 20th century, especially in the 80s and 90s. Turkey was like, oh, there we go. We're becoming more modernized again. Christians are everywhere. Look at Turkey now. Look what's going on under Erdogan. So, because it's not, you cannot reform this political ideology, and do not call it a religion, it's a political ideology, and we know that. And I just checked, and the video is now demonetized on YouTube. Surprise, surprise. I lasted 12 minutes. Yes, 12 minutes of being monetized. Well done, Maya. What is the point? All right. We're not making any money. Anyway, let's go back. Laurie, let's see what Laurie is saying. Laurie says, we have become weak. These people are not our culture. They will never fit in or abide by our laws. There's a video out with an Iranian saying that there are so many in our country. Islam is bad for us. Well, Iranians know, because the Islamism took over Iran ages ago, decades ago. And now there is an underground movement. There's a rise of Christianity in Iran, and of course also a rise of secularism as well. But a lot of people are converting either to Christianity or to the ancient religion of the Persians, which is Zoroastrian. So it's a tricky situation, obviously, but they are fighting back. They're absolutely fighting back. I'm still fascinated. What did I do to get demonetized again? Is it because I was talking about Muhammad? So basically, if you mention anyone who... I shouldn't say this. If you mention anybody on YouTube who either has or had an island, secret island, or had, let's just say, a harem of wives, I'm talking about certain prophets in the past, you would get demonetized. I could show you a video of a conflict with tanks going around. That's okay. But if I talk about a false prophet, you will be in trouble. All right, let's go. Okay, the live chat is not helping. I want to try to read your comments and your questions as well. The comments I'm seeing in live chat will get me completely cancelled, but it's okay. We don't care. Let's go to the next one. Verena says, the delusions of Islam. To think that they will think that they being powerful is through, yes, murder and manipulation and the R word. Yes, it's because the actual ideology is not based on love. It's based on submission. Literally, the whole word, the word Islam and the meaning of those certain words is submission and technically humility. And the whole point is that you will submit to the wider centralized ideology. Remind you of anybody? Yes. Mr. Karl Marx and Marxism, anything from Marxist ideologies, whether it's socialism or communism or all the others, Trotskyite, is basically the foundation of it comes from that book about, centuries ago, 1400 years ago, whenever it was. This is the problem. This is the main problem. Because you have the main centralized idea or the figurehead, whether it's a prophet, whether it's a dictator, whether it's Karl Marx, they are the father figure. And if you have issues in your life, if you have mommy and dad issues or whatever, you could easily convert to these ideologies, because if anything goes wrong in your life, you could blame other people. That's the whole point. Whether it's socialism or Islamism, it's the same thing. But you have to submit. If you submit to the centralized ideology, you will be taken care of. That's what they promise. Same, Islam and socialism, same thing. They promise you, you will be taken care of, but you won't. Because human nature means at some point, you will rebel or you will disobey, and then you will be punished. That's the same thing that's happened every single time. Laurie, thank you so much for your super chat. Laurie saying, thanks, you're my news. You're such a kind person, Laurie. Thank you so much, by the way. Although if you don't put a comma between the word person and Laurie, that means you're just telling yourself you're kind. You're such a kind person, Laurie. I'm kidding. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm just in one of those moods today. John Johnson, this is a comment from earlier on. Why are Britain always in Eurovision? Because it's a tournament. It's a competition. Why would they not be in? Even Australia is in Eurovision. Eurovision is not just the continents of... But it's also, there's no... Okay, people are obsessed with continents, as if continents are some sort of official entity. Continents are just words. They're not like national sovereignty of each country with a flag. So some could argue Turkey is in Europe, Turkey is in Asia, Turkey is in the Middle East. It doesn't really matter. And also Eurovision, it's just got the word Euro. It doesn't mean only people in the continent, mainland Europe, are invited. Anyway, why am I talking about Eurovision? Let's go. All right, we have Maya Rivka, similar name as mine, saying make up code words using the first letter of the name, maybe finding a similar... Oh yeah, this is a loophole in order to go around it not being demonetized on YouTube every time I use certain words. So when it comes to the guy who owned the island, who apparently lost his life in prison, we'll call him Jeff. Jeff, you know who Jeff is. When we talk about the guy who had a wife, whose wife was about 9 years old, I don't think I can even say that. We'll call him Mo. Mo, yeah. So when I say Mo, you know who I'm talking about. When I say Jeff, you know who I'm talking about. Oh dear, what's going on? Let me just check. I'm doing an appeal, because you can do an appeal when you get demonetized on YouTube. Sometimes they'll fix it, the AI. Anyway, enough about this nonsense. I'm going to give you a summary of what you've missed, and then we are going to come back with more updates for you guys. So this morning we had the Hezbollah side claiming that they used 62 missiles and rockets. Then we discovered it was actually 40, but still a lot. This is the map of the alerts in Israel. All the areas, northern side targeted, bad. Jordan Valley alert. We had the South Golan alert and everything else. And then we had a number of statements from the official leadership in Lebanon. We had the Prime Minister calling for the enforcement of the UN Resolution 1701. And then we had the Hezbollah side releasing statements and propaganda videos claiming that they are the victims, even though they were the ones who attacked a sovereign country this morning. It's like when the Gaza side, about 3 months ago, they invaded Israel. They said, we are the victims. Why would you invade a country and claim that you're the victim? It makes no sense. So when that country, you make them angry, they're going to do counter-offense. They're going to do self-defense. And now you're claiming to be the victim. And then you have idiots in the Western world saying, oh no, Gaza, such a victim. Even though literally hours before they were all celebrating, saying, yay, we brought down the Israelis and the Jews. Absolute idiocy happening on planet Earth on the 21st century in the year 2024. Thank you so much for joining it's not the first one, second live stream of the day. The first one, make sure to watch that if you haven't. It was me going inside, infiltrating another Islamist protest in central London, and Metropolitan Police for once did a good job. Watch that video as well. We're going to come back with a couple of updates, and then I'm going to go to the pub. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.